Happy Monday, all you Minties. This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, and join me today as I give you an advance look at some trade paperbacks from Marvel Comics coming out on Wednesday, October 14th. So, please stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. Now, before I get started, a huge thank you to David Gabriel and the folks at Marvel for sending us advanced copies of these books. As I mentioned at the beginning, these books are due out in the direct market on Wednesday, October 14th. Meaning places like your local comic book shop, cheap graphic novels, Tales of Wonder, in-stock trades. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to take a look at this Hellstrom book that was officially canceled, or so a lot of people thought. So this is Hellstrom, Prince of Lies, and it is a pretty unique book in the fact that a lot of people thought this was canceled because it was accidentally left out of the catalog. But it is here. I promise it's coming out. This is there's a big gap in between this Evil Origins and this book here. This is the book that was relaunched in the 90s. As a matter of fact, these gimmick covers were awesome. And this is the stories that take place right before the Warren Ellis run. So all this stuff in here is written by Rafael Nieves. Actually, with the exception of the last couple of issues. And this is collecting the Hellstrom Prince of Lies issues 1 through 11. And like I said, this series originally came out in 1990, I think it was 92, 93, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of people missed out on it. It wasn't until this guy named Warren Ellis came in and took over the book that people got interested in this. As a matter of fact, there's an omnibus of Warren Ellis' run, and there's going to be a complete collection of his run later on this year, if I'm not mistaken, in trade paperback format for those trade waiters. But here it is. This is the stories that we're missing that weren't previously collected, collecting issues 1 through 11 of this series. It has 264 pages. And this issue right here, if you're not familiar at all with the Son of Satan, this is the issue that you'll want to read. And that's issue 2, where he runs into Doctor Strange, or rather calls for Doctor Strange to meet with him. And he retells his origin, what he was doing with the Defenders, how he was married at one time to, well, I'll let you figure that out. He talks about his sister, his father, and why he looks different. And he looks a lot more super sexy and cool in the 90s instead of this character right here. It's funny because he makes fun of how he looked. And I guess he looked kind of ridiculous. But in the 90s, this guy is more like, think of Lucifer from the Vertigo line. That's what he was more like. I will say, if you're expecting this series to wrap up, though, there's a cliffhanger that happens in issue 11 that isn't resolved because issue 12 is Warren Ellis taking over the book and doing his own thing. However, I think Warren Ellis talks about the resolution of the story, I think in issue 16, if I'm not mistaken, or 17, something like that. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're expecting this and you see the end and you see a huge cliffhanger, it doesn't get resolved right away. It takes a few issues getting into Warren Ellis' run for Warren Ellis to actually acknowledge the fact that something big happened towards the end of issue 11 in this series. And when you get here towards issues 8, 9, and 10, it's Lem Kaminsky is taking over co-plotting and then eventually writing the whole book towards the end. Let me see. Yeah, Len Kaminsky right there. And you have several artists working on this book that have this dark art style because that's what they were going for. This is during the Rise of the Midnight Suns era. So you had books like Darkhold, you had Ghost Rider, you had the Midnight Suns, and the Night Stalkers. So you had like a line of books that they were building its own little universe. So let's look in the back here for extras. I didn't even say that this book retails for $24.99. Alright, so here are articles from Marvel Age 122. And in the book, he'll explain why he is called Hellstrom, by the way, instead of Hellstorm. And then this graphic novel trade paperback cover by Michael Bayer and Thomas Mason. $24.99. And another book that is $24.99 is this X-Men Age of X Milestones. We are about to wrap up this series of Milestones. Just about every X-Men event has been collected. I think this is probably the last one, unless they're going to do Age of X-Man and House and Powers of X, but it's up to them. Now, this particular book right here has been collected before. It's been collected in a hardcover, it's been collected in a trade paperback format, but it is a crossover think of the Age of Apocalypse. As a matter of fact, this Age of X. So it's very similar. It's an alternate reality where the humans have just destroyed most of the mutants, and mutants were never, ever accepted into society. So the remaining mutants are, of course, trying to survive. There's betrayal, and all of them are led by Magneto. I love when Magneto's just the dude, man. How has he not been a good guy, like, officially? Well, spoilers. Nah, never mind. You all can find out. But I love this outfit. This is one of my favorite outfits that Magneto wore. As a matter of fact, he kind of wore a similar outfit during his run, during Cullen Bunn's run on Magneto. But I'm a sucker for alternate realities. I love when characters are taken out of their element to see what they look like. And it's Mike Carey. Mike Carey has a very amazing, underrated run on X-Men, and then it became X-Men Legacy, and this is part of it. So this collects X-Men Legacy 245 to 247, New Mutants, because it's a crossover, 22 through 24, and then Age of X Alpha and Age of X Universe 1 and 2. That's what this collects. So Rogue is a big player in here. He was a big fan of that. And then Clay Mann's artwork. Man, top notch. He's such a phenomenal artist. And I think I've said it before, he's an artist that can make his dudes look a lot prettier than his women. But let's look in the back here for some extras. I think this is the exact same, yeah, it's got the exact same page count as the oversized hardcover. Here's the variant by Oliver Copiel. And then this is the combined variants by Clay Mann. I think these were little things from the back of the issues explaining what some of the other superheroes were doing. Character designs. And then these are the letters from the creative team. And then all the other collected editions out there. This book right here has 256 pages. And as I mentioned, retails for $24.99. Iron Man 2020. Robot Revolution. The future is now. This book retails for $17.99 and collects Iron Man 2020 1 through 6. I've been asked a lot why this book is not collected in the upcoming Iron Man by Dan Slott omnibus. And I think they probably have some plans for this, because this was just one of the miniseries. And I think there was a Wolverine miniseries. Oh, there is, because it's got Albert and LCD. Oh, heck yeah. So this is a character that appeared, and you've seen him before, and I don't want to say the character's real name, but Iron Man 2020 was a character that first appeared in Machine Man, in an issue of Machine Man, back in the 80s. I want to say like 84, 83, something like that. And this is a different take on the character. It's the same character's name, but his origin is different. He has a lot closer ties to Tony Stark than the original character did. So I think that's pretty interesting. And if you want to know who he is, I think this book does a good job of explaining it. This is co-written by Christos Gage, so Dan Slott is not alone. And all of the artwork in here is done by Pete Woods. And I love that guy's artwork for a long time. He had a run on Superman with Jeff Johns. And he has I want to say it's a good mix of cartoon with realism. Maybe it's the colors that they decide to team him up with. They give him that extra cartoon look to it, that anime feel. But I think it's so realistic compared to a lot of other artists. And like I mentioned, it's Iron Man 2020. He's a different character. Keep that in mind. It's a character that was first introduced in the Kieran Gillen run. And then Christos Gage kind of, how do I put it, escalated his status during his run. The book again retails for $17.99. Let's look in the back here. And has 136 pages. So here's a few extras. I can't show you. It shows you Iron Man 2020's timeline, so I don't want to spoil that for anybody. But here are some variant covers. And then the original Iron Man 2020, like I was talking about, his collection right there. And holy crap, that's a lot of variant covers. 136 pages. And for all you Spine watchers, here's a good place to pause the video. Please don't forget to hit like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. What are you waiting for? We put out videos every day. And we can be found on Patreon. It's a great way to support the channel, and thank you to our existing patrons. And here we have the latest Marvelverse book. This is Venom. This is the line that's geared towards children because of the size, obviously, and of course the price. The price of this is only $9.99. However, this one is pretty interesting because it collects issues of Amazing Spider-Man, right? But it also collects Amazing Adventures. And Amazing Adventures were the comics that were based on the cartoon. So whenever the Spider-Man cartoon was out in the 90s, the Amazing Adventures retold the story exactly the same way in comic book format. Well, maybe not as many issues as it would have taken to do a multi-part series like the Black Costume Saga that turned into the Venom Saga. By the way, if you own these issues, these for some reason have gone up in price, the single issues. Don't ask me how I know that. Every once in a while, I'll still keep up with single issues. But anyway, so I find that interesting because I haven't seen that before. Most of the time, the Marvelverse books are just reprints of classic stories. But instead, they went with the cartoon, which is not canon. But maybe it's an easier way to get kids to learn about Venom instead of talking about the Secret Wars and then Eddie Brock committing suicide. Probably why. Never mind. Forget it. I just learned why it's easier to do it that way instead of showing the issue 300. So, but it does collect issue 317 of Amazing Spider-Man. So it collects the Spider-Man Adventures 8, 9, and 10, and then Uncanny Origins 7 and Marvel Adventures Spider-Man 35. This one right here, as well as Amazing Spider-Man 317. So this, like I said, $9.99 and has 128 pages. I'm not sure. Nope, no extras in the back. As soon as I got this, I read it. This is Al Ewing's take on Guardians of the Galaxy. The book retails for $15.99. It is Guardians of the Galaxy, then it's us. I read all of Donny Cates, so I'm all caught up on Guardians. Well, not monthly, but I'm caught up on Guardians. It was so good to see this book back again because you all know how I feel about DNA's run on the Cosmic Saga. It's a book that should always be available monthly. And for some reason, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy has had its ups and downs. But holy crap, was this a good first arc. I didn't see what happened in here coming at all. And it was good to be reconnected with old characters again. There's new characters that join the Guardians of the Galaxy. You have my boy here, Novar, who's Marvel Boy. It was a creation by Grant Morrison. And I think, Bendis ended up using him during his Dark Avengers storyline. Oh, this is such a good story. It retails for $15.99. I can't talk much about it other than the fact that it's nice to see Al Ewing get some love and have a big flagship title like this, because I think this could be a huge book for him. I think this and Immortal Hulk can put his name on the map, and we can get proper collections of his stuff, because he is a great underrated writer. Well, I guess I can't say underrated anymore. Look at that page. Man, that's an awesome splash page. The art in here is done by Juan Cabal, who did the artwork. My wife reviewed a couple of their books, the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man book. And he is a solid artist, so it's nice to see him show up in what I hope it is, a flagship title. Let's get to the back here so you can see some of the other issues. And there are a lot of characters, a lot of Easter eggs for a lot of the fans of the classic Cosmic series. And there's some nice returns of some characters that I didn't expect to see back. And then there's a couple of heartbreaking moments in here that I don't know. I can't talk about. 128 pages, $15.99. Let's look in the back for some extras. Of course, got to censor that page, but here are the extras. That is an awesome variant by Ivan Chavrin. Pepe Larraz. I remember seeing that cover before. I thought that was going to be the cover of the trade. And some more variants back here. Wish all the variants got a full page. That is an awesome variant. And none of them really spoil anything. And here are the Donny Cates books. Last, and certainly not least, Captain America, Volume 10, Monsters and Men. Volume 10 of the Epic Collection. You all know how I love my epics, and this one is no different. Look at that awesome cover by Mike Zeck. There are a few awesome covers in here that I thought they were going to use, but that one is solid too. So, Captain America. This is most of the stuff in here is all by J.M. DeMatteis, and he's joined by Mike Zeck on art. Mike Zeck is the gentleman that went to do Secret Wars. He's also the one that did the cover with Captain America and Wolverine, where Wolverine's slashing through Captain America's shield in the annual. And joining those two is Alan Cooperberg, Sal Buscema, Ron Wilson, and David Anthony Kraft, just to name a few. So here we have another volume of Captain America, including this crossover with the Defenders. Now, we've had a volume 9, and we have a volume 12. So we don't have a volume 11 yet, because, you know, they release epics out of order. So I'm glad to see another Captain America. Put it in my shelf. This book has 504 pages. So it's a big book, and retails for $39.99. And collects Captain America 267 to 285. And then annual number 6 and Defenders 106. That's the first appearance of Team America. Remember when I read about these guys in New Mutants? It was so weird to see them show up. Because to me, they're just a weird group of characters. There's a really good story. Actually, this is it right here with Captain America's friend right there. This is Arnie Roth, who's a friend, like a childhood friend, and has aged differently, of course. And there's a sad resolution to that storyline. There is an introduction here of the new Nomad. The character had appeared before, but the character of Nomad hadn't. And this is the Nomad that played a big part. He was changed in the 90s, but played a big part in Captain America's life. Because I guess Captain America didn't need a Bucky or a Falcon during this time. Here's annual number 6 with this flashback to the Invaders. And let's get back here to look at some of the other Mike Zeck artwork. This guy is just a phenomenal artist. Really thought they were going to go with issue 282 as the cover of this epic, though. By issue 276, there's these backup stories here. Same team, J.M. DeMatteis and Mike Zeck, but it's the story of the Falcon. And there's 279. He's dating a girl named what is her name? Bernie, I think. John Beatty does the inking. There's that classic resolution. There's the return of Baron Zemo in here. There's a huge team up of Captain America's villains. This awesome cover right there. So I thought they were going to go with this or 282. Guest star by Spider-Woman. And there's Viper. Yes! This issue right here. And there's the new Nomad. I love the Constrictor. For some reason, I've always been a sucker for his design. And this is where he takes down Captain America, and it's up to the new Nomad to take him out. Let's look in the back here for some extras. Oh, and the final story in here, this one's rough. This is about Jeff Mace, a Golden Age character. Let's see. There's an afterword by Ralph Macchio, not the Karate Kid. And then back here is a pinup by Brent Anderson from the Marvel Fanfare number 10. Of course, censoring that final page. And that, as they say, is that. When these trades come out, check out our sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for brand new graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off the cover price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on packaging your books so they arrive safely and in excellent condition, as well as prompt and helpful service. And check out their bargain bin for even greater deals up to 90% off cover price. And for you minties, Cheap Graphic Novels is running a special promotion. If you're a first-time customer, let them know you were referred by Near Mint Condition at the checkout, and you'll receive a credit for free shipping on your next order. Now, this is only for U.S. customers. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discounts, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the page count and the contents of each of these books. Let me know in the comments down below which ones you're picking up. If you're getting the X-Men Milestones line, they are seriously about done. I can't imagine very more X-Men Mile. I mean, are we going to do House and Powers of X in Milestone? That'd be pretty interesting. I mean, it'd be a good way to wrap it. Anyway, where was I? Let me know which ones you're picking up. If you're picking up the Hellstrom book. If you were worried it was going to be canceled. If you're confused about Iron Man 2020 and who the character is. I think this book does a good job of explaining or reintroducing the character. And if you're hoping for an Al Ewing Guardians of the Galaxy omnibus or oversized hardcover. And of course, let me know if you're an epic collector and look forward to this J.M. DeMatteis Captain America run. Again, this was the Uncanny Omar. Please don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button, and ring that bell for notifications to let you know when our videos are going live. We can be found on Redbubble and on Patreon. We have different tiers for Patreon with different rewards. That feels kind of weird. It feels like you're shopping at the mall and you get a reward every time you spend $1. But anyway, it's a great way to support the channel if you can do so. And thank you to our existing patrons. And more importantly, please everybody stay healthy, stay safe out there, and much love to all of you.